So, anyone who's really listened to power metal in any sort of serious capacity certainly heard of Helloween. Helloween basically kickstarted the whole genre, giving it its real shape that it started to take in the 80s and then the next couple decades. Although, seriously, it's had a huge deviation away in this like sort of arena metal. We clearly have to look back at who started the whole genre and clearly say like, wow, Helloween really did do all this. Although I'm a huge Blind Guardian fan more than Helloween, we have to give homage to where, it's due. And holy shit, did they make such a great return with their 16th album, which is self-titled? I don't really get why they decided to go self-titled. Ultimately, I think you're okay to be lazy to, for your debut to say, hey, we're gonna be self-titled. But after you've established yourself, you could have just named it anything, just fucking Skyfall or hey, we're back. Pumpkins United was better than this, but it doesn't matter. It's actually an amazing album. I'm a huge fan of this. I wasn't actually super excited because although I must say we have to give homage to Helloween, I'm not a giant fan. I've been more of a Blind Guardian than some of the more melodic stuff, and I'm not a big fan of early Kai Hansen. And even if you take a look at Michael Kiske doing interviews about himself, he's like, oh, I can't listen to myself on Keepers anymore because I was so untrained. And people have gotten a lot better, and really, it shows in this album. Although they've written some amazing songs before, and Keepers is a fucking legend, I think Helloween's self-titled 16th album is amazing. I originally was saying like, oh, the single Skyfall is pretty decent. I enjoyed it, and ultimately this should be shaping up for a fun album. I didn't realize I just really liked the whole damn thing. When I first started it, and Out for the Glory is such a good intro. It's very bold for it's a longer song, and I think a lot of people who listen to strictly power metal don't necessarily favor some of the progressive long songs. Like when we start Wilderun knocking it out with like a fucking 14-minute intro song on the Veil of Imagination. No, of course it's not 14 minutes, but Out for the Glory feels a little overlong for an intro song, but it doesn't matter. It's actually really amazing, and it was a really good choice. I do think that the chorus is very catchy, and it's one of those where I actually didn't continue listening to the album. I actually listened to the song again because I'm like, wow, I found myself really impressed by that, and I couldn't help but just get into it. Fear of the Fallen's another great song. Ultimately, I think it showcases a little bit of their more interesting songwriting as well. As just really got into it. Honestly, the first 4 songs are all great. Best Times is really, actually, that's the one I've been putting on repeat. Just been putting that, just playing. I think I've actually played just that song itself for over an hour now, and Mass Pollution is also fantastic. There's a bit of a lull after that, but those first 4 songs really show I wasn't having huge expectations, like I said, for this, but I'm like, holy shit, they've already blown me away. If you already only had those 4 and they said, here's our EP, I would have been like, please, just do more. But the thing is, we have more. Although Rise Without Chains and Angels, I'm not a giant fan of. Rise Without Chains is decent, but then once you get to Robot King and Cyanide, I love those 2 so much. Robot King's actually really good. The first time I listened to it, I was like, that was pretty decent. I thought that was good, but it grew on me, and now it's actually one of my favorites on the album. And of course, Skyfall is fantastic, and Orbit leading up to it, which is, if you count that as a song. Ultimately, this is one of those where I think Helloween has really made a big return to form in terms of songwriting. Not only that, but over time, all these musicians that has been involved in the project or their own individual projects have gotten better, more proficient. Michael Kiske, back in the late 80s, was clearly a little untrained. He had a really good voice and a lot of good things going for him, but he really needed a little bit more refinement. Now we have him with refinement, but with Helloween actually producing very good, authentically well-produced content. And these songs, I just can't help but say, give me more of this. Helloween, you've knocked it out of the park here. Please give us more of this, and please tour in an area that I'll be able to see live. So come to Detroit or something, it would be amazing. So I think I ultimately have to give this album like a 9 out of 10. It's one of my favorites of the year. Of course, Vera Cruz by Eddie Falashi is still taking the top spot because it's thoroughly amazing. I might do a video on that later. So I'm gonna try to review a few more other albums that are released this year. So if you guys like that, remember to like, subscribe, and thank you all for watching.